Welcome to Open History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more video like this one.
February 5th, 1945. Santo Tomas Internment Camp, Manila. Liberated after nearly 4 years, Lee Rogers and John C. Todd emerge frail yet unbroken. Their gaunt faces reflect hunger and loss, but also the resilience that carried them through captivity. 1945. Swedish archaeologists opened the tomb of King Gustav Vasa in Uppsala Cathedral. Nearly 400 years after his death, his remains confirmed the stature of the man who forged modern Sweden, linking legend to tangible history. Born in 1961 with a rare bone disorder, Rocky Dennis was told he'd never live past childhood. Instead, he grew into a witty, compassionate teen who defied every prediction. When he passed at 16, he left behind a story of courage and love that still inspires. Lieutenant Colonel George W. Arrowsmith, born into a family of service, rose swiftly through the ranks. At Gettysburg, 1863, he fell leading his men at just 24. His sacrifice, honored in name and memory, remains a testament to courage and duty. Back to 1981, just 44 years ago, on a Halloween night. The streets were alive with laughter, with masks and costumes glowing under the dim lights. State Street buzzing and parties carrying the spirit of a simpler time. Moments frozen in photos, now echoes of nostalgia. On September 19, 1991, in the Ötztal Alps, hikers uncovered Ötzi the Iceman, over 5,300 years old. With tools, clothing, and even shoes preserved in ice, his discovery opened a rare window into Copper Age life, his final moments marked by an arrow wound. A rare moment in history, 4 American veterans from different eras stand together. From the Civil War to World War II, each carried the weight of their conflict. Their shared presence bridges generations of service and sacrifice. In 1982, Tippi Hedren shared her California home with a tiger. Known for the birds, she became famous for living alongside big cats, risking her safety for passion. Her love for them later led to founding a sanctuary for rescued lions and tigers. In the summer of 1944, 3 nurses stole a rare day off amid the chaos of war. Grace Drury reflected, "We lived and died with every one of our boys. You never get over losing one. A tribute to all the heroic angels in fatigues." William Billy Singh, born 1886 in Queensland, became a legendary Anzac sniper at Gallipoli, credited with 150 confirmed kills. Decorated yet forgotten, he returned home to poverty and obscurity. Today, we honor his courage and sacrifice. In 1978, Microsoft's first 11 employees gathered for a group photo, unaware they were laying the foundation of a tech empire. These pioneers would help transform personal computing forever. In 1986, photographer Brian Spenceley joined an Arctic expedition to recover sailors lost in England's ill-fated 1845 Franklin expedition. Among the preserved remains, he came face to face with his great-great-uncle John Hartnell, lost 140 years earlier. In the remote town of Odd, West Virginia, the Whitaker family lives in extreme isolation. Documented by photographer Mark Leda, their story reveals generations without electricity, running water, or consistent contact with the outside world, highlighting enduring rural seclusion. After a grueling World War II battle, U.S. Marines pause for a brief coffee break. Amid exhaustion and chaos, these moments of rest offered fleeting relief and a chance to gather strength. In early 1900s Naples, a young tambourine vendor weaves through bustling streets, selling music and rhythm to city dwellers with each step. Smallpox, one of history's deadliest diseases, appeared over 12,000 years ago and affected millions, including Ramses V, Queen Elizabeth I, and Abraham Lincoln. After centuries of devastation, it was eradicated in 1980 following global vaccination efforts. In 1922 New York, children in patched clothes chase an Italian vendor pushing his ice cream cart. For a penny, they get a cone that melts almost as fast as they laugh. In the 1800s, frequent hair washing was avoided to prevent damage. Women relied on nightly brushing rituals, distributing natural oils, and maintaining glossy, strong hair. Hairstyles reflected beauty, health, and social standing, a true art of care. This is the last known photograph of Michael Rockefeller, taken shortly before his mysterious disappearance in 1961. While studying the Asmat people of Papua New Guinea, he vanished, leaving behind a story of intrigue, danger, and enduring mystery. This haunting image shows Czesława, a young girl at Auschwitz, moments before her execution on February 18, 1943, photographed by fellow prisoner Willem Brasa. Her fear and loss are palpable, a solemn reminder of the 250,000 children murdered in the camp. This reconstruction shows a Neanderthal, our close cousin who lived between 130,000 and 40,000 years ago. Strong, resilient, and adapted to Ice Age Europe, they remind us of the deep and shared roots of human history. Imagine being born in 1900, surviving World War I at 18, the Spanish flu at 20, the Great Depression at 29, Nazism at 33, World War II at 39, 45, the Korean War at 52, and Vietnam by 75. Life tested every generation before ours. In the words of Stonewall Jackson, the Civil War threatened more than property. It risked the very fabric of society. Jackson warned of anarchy, loss of faith, and the collapse of responsible government, reflecting the deep fears and brutal realities faced by the South. In 1993, President Bill Clinton sent the first-ever presidential email, marking a historic step into the digital age and the modernization of White House communications. In the icy Ardennes of 1944, a wounded American and German soldier shared a single cigarette in a deserted barn. By morning, one had died, but the survivor never forgot that fleeting moment of humanity. In 1942, near Kharkov, a captured Soviet woman stands frozen with fear, her hands raised in a silent plea. Behind her, a German soldier watches, the blurred background hinting at the war-torn landscape that frames this moment of human suffering. In 1947, Rudolf Höss, Auschwitz's commandant, was executed on the grounds of the camp he ran, near the crematoriums where countless lives ended. Justice, long delayed, served as a solemn reminder that even the worst crimes meet accountability. Genapil, the last queen consort of Mongolia, survived the fall of the monarchy but met a tragic end in 1938 during Stalin's purges, a stark reminder of how political tides can erase even royalty from history. In 1940, a farmer and his daughter in Tehama County, California, sat together listening to the radio, a lifeline to the outside world. Through its broadcasts, they heard news, music, and stories that brought hope and connection amid rural hardships. A group of soldiers share a rare moment of laughter amid the hardships of war. Even in the darkest times, camaraderie and humor offered brief escapes, reminding us that human connection endured through conflict and uncertainty. In December 1946, a Douglas DC-3 crashed onto a house in Ruislip, London, shortly after takeoff. Miraculously, everyone survived, including a 4-month-old baby upstairs, who slept through the chaos as the world outside erupted in panic. At Auschwitz, nearly 12,000 Soviet prisoners of war were officially registered, but thousands more were brought and killed without records. Altogether, over 14,000 Soviet soldiers perished in the camp, a stark reminder of wartime cruelty. Oberleutnant Erich Zürn, chief engineer of U-48, poses aboard a Citroën 7CV cabriolet linked to the 7th U-boat flotilla. Even amid the machinery of war, moments like this captured officers in rare, personal glimpses. In 1980, Freddie Mercury shares a rare private moment with close friends. Offstage, the Queen frontman sought intimacy and trust, surrounded by a chosen family that supported him amid fame and the stigma of being openly gay. Frank Hamer, born 1884, Texas Ranger and relentless lawman, survived 17 gunshot wounds and countless shootouts. He tracked Bonnie and Clyde, bringing them to justice, leaving a legacy of courage, steel will, and frontier justice. In 1953, Ben Johnson returned to Hollywood after a tough year with just a worn car and a strained marriage. From stuntman to Western star, he built a $200 million fortune, starred in classics like Shane, and earned a place in the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. In 1960s London, late-night Central Line passengers found comfort in the steady presence of a uniformed guard in the last carriage. Silent, watchful, he embodied safety and humanity, an era that vanished by the 1990s. In Victorian London's East End, Adelaide Springett posed barefoot, embarrassed by her worn shoes. Captured by volunteer Horace Warner, her quiet dignity became a symbol of forgotten children in the slums, a story still moving hearts today. Linda Carter, born in 1951, became an enduring icon as Wonder Woman in the 1970s. More than a superhero, she embodied strength, grace, and empowerment, inspiring generations and paving the way for female heroes on screen. In the 1910s, a young woman stands barefoot on a rocky beach, her vintage dress flowing in the soft haze. Beside her, a small dog gazes at the water, capturing a quiet moment of serenity and timeless reflection by the sea. April 26, 1945. On the banks of the Elbe River near Torgau, American and Soviet soldiers met. Amid the war's end, they danced together, a fleeting celebration of unity and hope, captured in this colorized moment of shared relief.
A long line of soldiers pushes their bicycles along a winding dirt road that stretches across open terrain. With gear strapped to each bike, they move silently and steadily, showing both endurance and resourcefulness in adapting simple tools to the relentless demands of war. Joe Rosenthal's iconic 1945 photograph captures 6 U.S. Marines raising the American flag atop Iwo Jima. In a moment of bravery and unity amid battle, this image became a lasting symbol of sacrifice, resilience, and the triumph of hope during World War II. In 1994, Chi Modu photographed Eazy-E at his Norwalk home with his 1963 Chevrolet Impala. Relaxed and proud, these portraits capture the godfather of gangsta rap offstage, reflecting his love for lowrider culture and leaving a lasting imprint on music and style. In 1930, amid the Great Depression, unemployed men gathered in Times Square, New York, wearing signs offering to work for just $1 a week. Their silent protest reflected desperation, resilience, and the struggle to survive during one of America's darkest economic times. In the 1910s, 3 Dutch women paused for a photograph during immigration processing at Ellis Island. Their poised smiles and traditional attire captured a moment of hope as they stood on the threshold of a new life in America, leaving the old world behind. A soldier stands with a map in hand, binoculars around his neck, caught in a rare smile amid the intensity of wartime. Even in the gravest moments, brief flashes of humanity and lightness emerged, reminding us of resilience and the enduring human spirit. A controversial and unsettling image shows Donald Trump with his daughter Ivanka in the back of a limo. The photo evokes unease, amplified by past remarks he made about her, highlighting how context and public statements can color the way we see private moments. In 1923, amid Weimar Germany's hyperinflation, children played with stacks of worthless banknotes, treating them like toys. With $1 equaling over 4 trillion marks, money lost all value. Only the introduction of the Rentenmark restored stability. In June 1916 at Fleur Bay, New Zealand's 9th Regiment soldiers received their rum rations. One soldier stood out, wearing sandbags as leggings and makeshift footwear, an improvised touch amid the harsh conditions of the Western Front. In the 19th century, women rarely washed their long hair, knowing harsh lye soaps could ruin it. Instead, they brushed diligently, 100 strokes nightly, distributing natural oils and protecting their hair, turning care into an art that reflected both beauty and status. In 1956 Quebec, 2 children kneel in the snow, savoring maple taffy poured over fresh snow. This simple winter treat, sticky and sweet, was a moment of joy, a small, timeless pleasure amid the cold Canadian landscape. In 1939, San Antonio, a young girl sits quietly in her family's rustic kitchen, her cat nearby. The warm glow of the wood-burning stove illuminates simple, humble surroundings, a glimpse of everyday life, companionship, and quiet domestic moments. Amid the frozen carnage of Fredericksburg, Confederate soldier Richard Kirkland risked his life under heavy fire to bring water and aid to wounded Union troops. Known as the Angel of Mary's Heights, his courage shines as a rare beacon of humanity in war. In 1910, a Russian farmer stands proudly with his sons in Grand Pexely, Kasimovsky County. The image captures rural life in the Ryazan province of the Russian Empire, where family, land, and tradition defined daily existence. On August 30th, 1945, former POW Alfred Sorensen savors a meal aboard USS Benevolence with Navy Nurse Lieutenant J.G. Asplan. Rescued from a Tokyo area prison camp after 3 years, he joins over 1,500 liberated Allied prisoners of war aboard the ship.
Thanks for watching. Got an idea for a forgotten era I should explore? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to make it.